He's not good enough to beat me. You think this man's gonna beat me? You think I'm gonna let a guy from the UK come here and beat me and take my belt? You lost your mind.
Listen, Ryan, calm down. You're having one of them little episodes. Calm down. I know you're getting all excited.
Again, bro.
I know you're getting all excited, but I'll come over there and smack them glasses straight off your face.
Crazy? I don't even understand.
I'll come over there and smack them glasses straight off your face. That's what I'll do. Sitting there.
You won't do shit. I promise you won't do shit. I promise you won't do shit.
You won't do shit. Who won't do shit? Who won't do shit? Who won't do shit? Who won't do shit? Yeah, who won't do shit? Who won't do shit? Yeah, cool. Wait till I smack you up. Wait till I smack you up and make you quit. Wait till I smack you up and make you quit.
Yeah, why?
Make you quit.
Hey, you won't make it a 5. Your dad knows you won't make it a 5.
Your dad knows you won't make it a 5. You quit. You have no heart.
All right, bitch.
You're not Mexican, bro.
I'll beat you the
You're not Mexican, bro. You ain't got the heart.
Make it a bet.
Yo tengo huevos más grandes que tú, cabrón.
So make it a bet.
Me la pelas, pendejo. Me la pelas.
So make it a bet.
¿Qué vas a hacer? ¿Qué vas a hacer? ¿Qué más americano que tú, cabrón? ¿Qué vas a hacer? ¿Hacer algo? Este cinturón va conmigo para Londres, pendejo. Pendejo, va conmigo para Londres, tú ya lo sabes.
The Ryan Garcia vs. Conor Benn press conference quickly spiraled out of control. What began with light-hearted exchanges and the usual pre-fight banter suddenly turned into a chaotic confrontation within seconds.
It don't really make no difference to me what he does. Ultimately, I can't wait to put my fist up through his head, through his skull, September 12th. That's it. He can talk and throw his toys out the pram and have his little flare-ups, his tantrum things that he does. It don't make no difference to me. I've dealt with weirder.
Ryan, what exactly are you drinking over there?
All black coffee.
What do you think of Conor Benn? Obviously, he's had some accusations of being maybe inconsistent with his performances, had those great fights with Eubank. What do you think of him as an opponent?
I mean, if I look at his career, he's only fought guys that are on the way out. He's never fought a young, hungry, talented fighter. This is actually his first time ever doing it. So we're gonna see what he has. He's rushed into this position. So we're gonna show him that what happens when you rush into something you're not ready for, and this is a promise.
Garcia arrived with the same relaxed confidence he's known for, keeping things light while throwing playful jabs at Conor Benn. But this time, the comments appeared to affect Benn differently. As Garcia continued with the teasing, the atmosphere gradually became more tense, with Benn showing increasing frustration as the exchanges continued.
No, I mean, listen, I take you with the picture, so I couldn't care less what he says. No, I mean, it really don't bother me. He talks a lot of talk, but ultimately he's getting that title, claiming that #1 spot. He says this has been rushed. It's been 10 years in the making. You know, he got his ass handed to him by Rolly, and then magically got a world title shot. I'm coming off the back of Fight of the Year up at middleweight, avenging my loss.
Almost got beat up by Regis Progress. His face was squished by Regis Progress.
Avenging my loss.
30 years old. If I let this man beat me,
he's having another tantrum. This is what he does, he has another tantrum.
Keep talking, bro. Like I said, you're gonna get knocked out under 5. You're gonna get knocked out under 5.
He got a WBC world title shot.
Hey, Turkey,
and I'm here to
5
take
rounds
it off him. That's it, that's it.
Hey,
and that's what I'm here to do.
Hey, Turkey, thank you for this opportunity. I'm gonna knock him out 5 and below. A shout out, Turkey.
Garcia then pushed the exchange beyond simple verbal jabs, and Benn appeared to have enough. He stepped away from the microphone and moved closer toward Garcia on the stage, giving the impression that the confrontation could turn physical at any moment. In an instant, the light-hearted mood disappeared and the entire room became tense.
Throws his toys out of the pram on social media, throwing little tantrums. I'm not really too concerned about this little influencer to my right. He ain't a fighter. He can say whatever he wants. It ain't gonna make no difference come September the 12th. Proven. Yeah, 12-round war proven. I don't quit, I don't stay down.
He's not gonna make it 12. He's not gonna make it to 12. There's not gonna be a 12-round war. I promise you that.
I don't stay
He's not good enough. Look at his hair, bro. He's looking for attention. Look at his hair. He's looking for attention. He ain't gonna make it past 12. I promise you. This not be a 12-round war. He's not good enough. He's not good enough to beat me. You think this man's gonna beat me? You think I'm gonna let a guy from the UK come here and beat me and take my belt? You lost your mind.
Security personnel quickly intervened before the confrontation could become physical. They moved directly between the two fighters and separated them as the audience reacted to the sudden chaos on stage. Even after being pulled apart, Ryan appeared unfazed, seemingly still ready with more jokes, while Conor looked visibly frustrated and close to losing his patience. Neither man appeared interested in backing down, which made the exchange even more intense. The microphones were meant to promote the fight, but the attention had quickly shifted from promotion to confrontation.
You won't do shit. I promise you won't do shit. I promise you won't do shit.
Who want to do shit? 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 Yeah, who want to do shit? Who want to do shit?
Brief moment, the situation felt less like a promotional event and more like the opening seconds of the actual fight. Security eventually regained control and created enough distance between the two boxers to calm things down, but the atmosphere had already changed. What started as verbal exchanges had clearly become far more personal. From this point forward, every interview, face-to-face meeting, and official stare-down is likely to carry additional tension between Garcia and Benn. After what happened on that stage, the anticipation surrounding their eventual showdown has taken on a completely different feeling.
He knows that Ryan Garcia has been stopped before, happened against Gervonta Davis. He got dropped against Rolly Romero. Conor Benn wants the knockout. He's shown that he has big power at 47. This is going to be his first fight at the weight in, I believe, 4.5 years or so.
To me, that's actually news, Gabe, because not everyone trains for the knockout, right? Yeah. You hear a lot of fighters say, hey, I'm going to train to beat him. If the knockout comes, it comes. What does this mean to you?
I think this is the way he can win the fight, is by knockout. I don't think he can win the fight on points with Ryan. So it's smart if that's what he's aiming for, but it's going to be really tough. Him coming down from 60 to 147.
That's scary.
I mean, you might lose that power. You know, that's what happens most of the time. When
from the Garcia Benn press conference continues into the Ring magazine panel, but the focus now shifts from the heated exchanges to the biggest question surrounding the matchup. Does Conor Benn have enough power to stop Ryan Garcia? Mike Coppinger provides an important detail, explaining that Benn has been preparing specifically with a knockout victory in mind. That immediately adds another dimension to the fight, because it suggests Benn isn't simply planning to outbox Garcia over the distance. Gabe Rosado takes a similar view of the matchup. Rather than dismissing Benn's knockout strategy, he sees it as one of the most realistic routes to victory. According to Rosado, trying to beat Garcia on the scorecards could be a much more difficult task, making an early or decisive finish an especially important part of Benn's potential game plan.
Going to have to take that out of Conor's hands by knocking him unconscious, where he's going to have to show that he has dog in him, that Conor Benn is calling out, saying you don't have that in him. He's going to have to show at some point that, no, I got that.
He emphasized that on an interview, like, look, listen, you are great, you are but I watch you stop. I watched another fighter make you stop, and then when you think about that, I'm like, damn. That makes a good point.
He did make a good point, but to Ryan's credit, he did get off the canvas against a gold medalist and Luke Campbell and score a knockout. So I think he deserves that credit.
No, I'm talking about dogs. I'm talking about you unleash the collar and you put him in there with a dog. Luke ain't no dog. He's a good fighter, he ain't no dog, though.
Conor Benn's
that's a dog, you know?
That's a pretty good bark.
Kellerman then introduces another major factor, the weight class. Conor Benn has competed around both 160 and 150 pounds, so returning to 147 raises questions about how the cut could affect his physical strength and punching power. Kellerman references Roy Jones Jr. as an example of how moving through different weight classes can potentially change a fighter's effectiveness. Rosado, however, points out that Benn appeared noticeably bigger and stronger during his recent fights at the higher weights. That creates an interesting contrast heading into this matchup. Benn may be capable of bringing intense pressure and serious power, but Garcia is unlikely to simply stand in front of him and absorb it. Ryan's speed and movement could force Benn to work much harder for the opportunities he needs.
Well, you bulking up to fight Eubank. You're bulking up. You're lifting weights. You getting husky, and now you got to take away all that muscle. That's why I feel like I don't know if that power is going to be there.
Right, he was a big, strong,
but I don't know.
Conor Benn, if you go back, was a big, strong, power-punching welterweight who, because of the family rivalry with the Eubanks, moved up to fight a bigger man. But once he moved up, it's like when Roy went to heavyweight.
Shifts the discussion toward Garcia's boxing ability, emphasizing the advantages Ryan can create with his technical skills. The panel also highlights Garcia's work to the body, which could become a valuable weapon against Benn, particularly if the weight cut affects his physical condition. Then Shady McCoy introduces another factor, Benn's mentality. Conor has a reputation for continuing to push forward regardless of what is happening in front of him, meaning Ryan cannot assume that pressure alone will make him back off. That leaves both fighters with very different objectives. Benn needs to make the contest physical, apply pressure, and capitalize on his power before Garcia can settle into his rhythm. Ryan, meanwhile, will need to rely on his speed, movement, accuracy, and timing while making Benn pay for the demanding cut to 147 pounds. So this matchup goes beyond the usual power versus speed debate. The real question is which fighter can impose his strengths while preventing the other from using his most dangerous weapons.
And Ryan can box, or if Conor, especially if he's weight trained, is training for a knockout like Gabe says, and he's coming in on him, because Conor's a dog, he is. But sometimes, like Joe Frazier was a dog. No. George Foreman hits so hard that on the way in, it doesn't matter how much dog you have in you, you get lifted off the canvas, right? And Ryan has that kind of power.
I could see Ryan digging the body, because a guy that is cutting weight, the first thing you want to do is attack the body. So, you know,
and
you can physically look good, but that body may not be able to take that punishment.
I just think it's a great point.
Yeah, so I think and Ryan's a good body.
Ryan Garcia and Conor Benn was already intense, but Ryan's reaction added an entirely different element to the conversation. After the Ring magazine panel discussed Benn's size, pressure, and punching power, Garcia made it clear that he wasn't going to simply accept every prediction being made about the matchup. When Bomac's assessment came into the discussion, Ryan responded in his usual outspoken style, quickly turning the technical debate into another round of personal trash talk. Instead of focusing entirely on the analyst's arguments, Garcia fired back with an insult about Bomac's weight, creating a moment that was almost guaranteed to attract attention online. But beneath the humor, Ryan's response carried a more serious point. He doesn't appear willing to accept the idea that a single disappointing performance should completely change how people view everything he has accomplished throughout his career. In Garcia's mind, his previous abilities and achievements still matter, regardless of one difficult night.
But on the real though, you look great with bodies. You dropped him within 1 minute.
That's what I'm saying, bro. The corner could stop. Look at it, bro. I always tell people, look at the whole body of work. That's why a lot of boxing analysts get the fights wrong. One, styles make fights, and two, your whole body of work is supposed to be what you pay attention on. Like, LeBron James could have one bad game, but you're not going to talk shit about LeBron. You're going to look at his whole body of work. My whole body of work is usually it's an exciting fight, and usually I win. I mean, I'm not here to be like, oh my gosh, like that guy sucks because it's one night. You know, everybody said Devin Haney was gonna lose to Brian Norman because he had a bad night with Jose Ramirez.
Garcia points back to everything he has accomplished rather than allowing one performance to define his entire career. His message is that fighters can learn, make changes, and return better prepared, which becomes especially relevant with Conor Benn waiting on the other side. There are already questions surrounding whether Ryan can still produce the same explosiveness that made him such a dangerous fighter. Benn's team appears comfortable with that storyline, giving the matchup another layer of intrigue. Then Henry Garcia adds to the conversation, making it clear that Team Garcia isn't interested in letting outside criticism distract them from their preparation. The talking can continue before the fight, but eventually Ryan will have to answer those doubts through his performance inside the ring. That's what makes this matchup so compelling. Benn brings constant pressure and power, while Garcia has the speed and timing to create problems in return. With both sides continuing to fuel the rivalry, the predictions and trash talk are only getting louder. Now the jokes are flying, the expectations are rising, and September 12th is getting closer.
What Bomac said about Conor Benn's gonna destroy Ryan.
Man,
that he
you
feels
know
he's
what?
not the same.
They should stay retired, okay? It's becoming a joke now. I'm being honest. I mean, the guy should stay retired. And then his coach, like Ryan said, man, he said chips, I said Doritos. So same thing. And I think, you know, them guys should just stay quiet, you know, shut up. You know, when you guys are in the game, then we'll listen to you. But if you're not in the game, stay out of the game because we got our job to do. And we're going to knock this guy.
Garcia's matchup with Conor Benn already carries plenty of uncertainty, and Eddie Hearn adds another important angle by focusing on the business and physical side of the fight. While discussing Benn's chances, Hearn makes it clear that he doesn't expect Conor to be an easy opponent, but he points to Benn's demanding work ethic, toughness, and competitive mindset as qualities that will keep him dangerous throughout the contest. However, Hearn's biggest concern centers on the weight cut. After spending significant time competing at higher weights, Benn will have to return to 147 pounds for this fight. That raises questions about how the weight reduction could affect him once the bout moves into the later rounds. Hearn isn't suggesting that Benn suddenly loses his abilities, but he's questioning whether Conor can maintain the same physical intensity after making such a demanding cut, and that could become one of the most important factors to watch when Garcia and Benn finally meet in the ring.
I think Conor's always going to be competitive. You know, he trains really hard. He's got a lot of heart. I don't like him at 147 pounds now because that was one of the problems in going to 160 to fight Eubank. To come back to 140, it's a really tough thing to do. And I think when he fought Prograis, was it 151 or 150? Like, he just didn't look the same. He looked like he was lacking power, didn't look that strong. And Ryan Garcia is a guy who's kind of built his way up to 147. He's super fit and good at the weight at 147. And he's a world-class fighter who punches very, very hard and is very sharp. So Conor's always going to be in the fight because he's got a lot of heart, but I don't see him winning that fight at 147.
Hearn then turned his attention toward the promotional side of the matchup, discussing how Conor Benn moved up the WBC rankings and acknowledging the role Matchroom played in helping position its fighter as highly as possible. From there, the conversation became less about the action inside the ring and more about the complicated business landscape surrounding the event. Hearn seemed particularly amused by the fact that Garcia and Benn ultimately landed on DAZN, while Oscar de la Hoya and Zuffer were also involved in the broader picture. His comments carried a noticeable sense of sarcasm, especially when discussing how different companies and promoters now have a stake in the event. The situation reflects just how interconnected modern boxing has become, with multiple major names competing for influence rather than one organization controlling everything. Dana White, Oscar de la Hoya, DAZN, Zuffer, and Ring Magazine all have their own interests surrounding the event, but none of that matters once the opening bell sounds. The promoters can handle the business, the analysts can make their predictions, and everyone else can debate the matchup. Ultimately, Garcia and Benn will be the ones responsible for settling the argument inside the ring.
To be on DAZN. Dana White just slagged DAZN 4 weeks ago. Now he's having to promote a fight on it. And guess what? It ain't even a Zuffer show. It's a ring card. So like all the excuses where they go, oh, those ring cards, they're not Eddie Hearn shows. So now, what's this, Dana? Is this not a Zuffer show? And guess what? Oscar de la Hoya's co-promoting it. I mean, you can't make it up. DAZN and Oscar de la Hoya have completely run rings around Zuffer. Oscar de la Hoya has had Dana White's pants down. And now Dana White's got to sit up on the stage, on the diet.
Then turned his attention toward the promotional side of the matchup, discussing how Conor Benn moved up the WBC rankings and acknowledging the role Matchroom played in helping position its fighter as highly as possible. From there, the conversation became less about the action inside the ring and more about the complicated business landscape surrounding the event. Hearn seemed particularly amused by the fact that Garcia and Benn ultimately landed on DAZN, while Oscar de la Hoya and Zuffer were also involved in the broader picture. His comments carried a noticeable sense of sarcasm, especially when discussing how different companies and promoters now have a stake in the event. The situation reflects just how interconnected modern boxing has become, with multiple major names competing for influence rather than one organization controlling everything. Dana White, Oscar de la Hoya, DAZN, Zuffer, and Ring Magazine all have their own interests surrounding the event, but none of that matters once the opening bell sounds. The promoters can handle the business, the analysts can make their predictions, and everyone else can debate the matchup. Ultimately, Garcia and Benn will be the ones responsible for settling the argument inside the ring.